Hi, I'm Susana Rodríguez, psychologist from INSER and coordinator of the psychosocial program at INSER. I feel very honored to be part of this special activity. Welcome, everyone. Today, I'm going to talk about the doctor-patient relationship: connect, communicate, and accompany. I will show you 3 important keys that will allow us to be a good support and guide our patients from an integral model of care. So, what is a doctor-patient relationship? It refers to an interpersonal relationship of a professional nature that serves as basis for the health management. It is considered one of the factors with the greatest influence of compliance with therapeutic recommendations and adherence to medical treatments. From psychological perspective, we like to use the metaphor of building bridges that connect us with them. It means the medical staff is actively seeking to understand the patient's experience and where he or she is coming from, and from there be more in a position of offering guidance. The traditional medical model of care has undergone a series of transformation. From an acceptance of the natural order through a paternalistic model in which the patient obeys the medical advice without questioning, to a horizontal model in which the patient's voice is heard and respected. And therefore, the patient is also allowed to make choices about the condition and the course of the treatment. What is the purpose of this patient's model of care? Well, we talk about a patient-centered model. This model invites us to build a patient-centered relationship, understand and connect with the patient's needs, offer a proper emotional support, communicate with assertiveness, and guide the therapeutic plan. What happened into our patients? What happened when the patient have an infertility diagnosis? Well, there are many things happen in this person. Infertility is an unexpected moment. It happens to others, not to me. Everything becomes threatening. Internal control is lost. We have a temporary disorganization. Common resources do not work. Grieving process. Losses associated with expectation about to become parents and negative results treatment. And it might feel or become chronic. Treatment can be long-term, and patient repeatedly must make choices about the course of the treatment. So they feel in a roller coaster. From building this bridge, we look forward to what we want about this bridge. Connect at the right time, avoid trauma, gain understanding and support the patient in this stressful experience. recover the functionality of the patient so that he can face the moment on an emotional, behavioral, and in a rational level. Support and promote decision-making skills. The aim is to permanently reflect on what and how can I help the patient in their treatment. I'm going to show you some tools to achieve it. Connect, communicate, and accompany. First, we have to connect with that person. So the big key to do it is the empathy. And what is empathy? Empathy is the key to connect and create safe, effective, and effective environments in order to generate trust for the collaboration of mutual goals focused on the well-being of the patient. Empathizing means understanding, sharing, and creating that internal space to accept the other person, hence helping them to feel understood and not alone. In the context of clinical care, seeing the world through the patient's lenses to understand their feelings and needs, to ease their pain or suffering, and therefore provide guidance in their treatment. So, how can we understand empathy? Understanding empathy, it implies recognize two realms. First, cognitively speaking, to ensure and understand of the patient's life experience to achieve an effective communication. And second, we have to know the emotional speaking, creating a space of interpersonal trust. In order to be empathetic, we must be willing to recognize and acknowledge our own lens and attempt to see the situation that someone is experiencing through her lens. What skills does it need to be empathetic? First of all, perspective taking, or putting yourself in someone else's shoes. Admit the point of view as valid and real. Staying out of judgment and listening. Recognizing emotion in another person that you have maybe felt before because you are a human being. Communicating that you can recognize that emotion. Something like you feel sad. I can imagine how sad or how sad, anger, you feel frustrated right now because this situation or these results of the treatment. Empathy in healthcare invites you to listen, save space, retain judgments, connect emotionally, and communicate that message that I'm here to help you. So the second tool that I'm going to show you is communicate. That means the bridge between your world and my world, communication. Communication cannot be separated for everyday life, especially for health professionals. It is the foundation of medical care and one of the most important tasks for a clinician. Look how interesting is this. Doctors spend more time communicating than any other medical intervention. Therefore, a good doctor not only requires knowledge and good technical skills, but the development of good communication skills is essential. What happened in the infertility? Since the first fertility consultation, the communication that is established with the patient is crucial to determine the course of the treatment. It is estimated that half of the patients that show up for the first consultation won't continue the treatment. This leads us to reflect on the importance of providing adequate knowledge and advice, but above all, to build a good bridge to inform what infertility patients needs to know and to make communication a therapeutic instrument. So, what is communication? It's an interpersonal process. Participants share about themselves through verbal and nonverbal signs with the aim of influencing the behavior of others. But we are gonna put something else, assertiveness. What is assertiveness and why is so important in the communication? Because it's the ability to formulate and communicate thoughts, opinion, and desires in a clear, direct, and non-aggressive way. In a doctor-patient relationship, it implies expressing recognition and respect. I value your perspective. Commitment, I care about you. And active listening, not listening to respond, listening to understand that person. Being assertive is a skill that is necessary for building a relationship based on trust and achieving guided cooperation. Look how interesting is this. Patients need to know and understand in addition to feeling known and understood. How to build communication bridges? First of all, we have to have active listening. What can you do, doctors? Try to listen without interrupting the patient. Paraphrase or summarize the patient's words. You mean that? Oh, I can understand your feelings. So you want to know about this treatment? Show empathy. As we said before, you have to walk in the patient's shoes. You have to understand what is the experience of life of that person and what is the meaning of this situation in the present. Maintain authenticity, be honest and respect others. Pay attention to your verbal communication. Communicate and transmit clear information in a simple way. Ask questions and attend to the patient's answer. The information needs to be put in words familiar to the others, to our patients. It's very important, the nonverbal communication. It constitutes between 90 and 93% of the transmitted message. So be aware of the message you send with our body gesture. Avoid giving the image of being in a hurry or distracted. Maybe watching, looking at your watch, answering calls, be aware of the device. Promote eye contact, check your body position, facial expressions, what is staying your face, head movement, and spatial distance. It's very important, the paralanguage. What is that? Tone, rhythm, pauses, and silences. Use a calm and quiet tone of voice to denote respect and to keep the rhythm during the conversation. The pauses serve as a resource to organize the conversation, and the silences also show respect and accompany the emotional moments. So now we have the third tool, and it's the key tool: prevent and guide. Communication skills, respect, involvement, and providing timely information are associated with greater well-being in patients. But what is the needs of our patient and what is a needs? Each person shows individual needs according to their personality style, history, educational level, and coping skills. To talk about the patient's needs, refer to the conditions that are necessary so patients can have a psychosocially healthy experience on the fertility treatment. Through clinical experience and support research, we can talk about a profile and the cognitive and psycho-emotional needs of patients undergoing reproductive treatments. I'm going to show you one of these. The first area is cognitive. What can we find in our patients? So they are previous knowledge about infertility. They show a critical attitude around their process. They seek to ask and inquire deep about the treatments, prognosis, and times. In an emotional area, we can find high anxiety levels, need to feel validated and understood in their emotions, low frustration tolerance, high sensitivity and need to feel accompanied and listened. In a behavioral area, we can find they are proactive, interactive, and they want to be participant in the process. They do not want to feel only as patients. They can express anger and discomfort in front of the professionals and center at critical moments of the treatment. Also, we can find in the cognitive area, they want that their questions can be listened with empathy and clarified. They expect not only to receive information at the beginning of the treatment, but also through the treatment in the step-by-step of all the procedure. In emotional area, we can find patients tend to feel frustrated because there are few things can control about their lives at this point. That's why it's so important to provide accurate information about the course of the treatment and assist them in feeling welcome as a part of the decision-making process. In the behavioral area, we can find they are active network, blogs, and support pages about infertility. And they show an open attitude to talk about their emotions and experiences. So it's important that they feel heard. However, it is also important to manage healthy limits to avoid emotional dependence with the professionals. What can we do to accompany, prevent, and guide our patients? The most effective way to start incorporating psychosocial care in routine fertility care is improving information at clinics. Information provision is highly valued by patients, and they have clear preferences about how they want to receive it. Attending these needs and seeking the psychosocial care in fertility, the ESHRE proposed a guide for professionals involved in healthcare centers. First of all, we can provide written information. Patients value written treatment relevant information. Second, include the following topics: information about diagnosis procedures, explanation about the treatment results, information about different treatment options. Give information about psychosocial care options. Give information about the available psychosocial care services. If you have psychotherapy or support group or groups online, give that information to the patient. Make sure the information is understandable. Remember, talk in their language. It must be familiar for the person. The information should be customized. Make sure the information leaflet is personally relevant to your patient. If you have a brochure produced in the center, it might be helpful to show patients which information is relevant for them. Being a good support and being able to accompany means guide your patients before, during, and after their reproductive treatments. And finally, professionals have a fundamental role in the approach to infertility. We have an ethical commitment with the beginning of life. Our task cannot be restricted for the execution of procreation alternatives. It is also the inclusion of that humanizing gaze that recognizes pain and validates the emotional needs of those who are in the other side of the desk. So, make the difference is in your hands. Connect, communicate, and accompany with and through your patients. Thank you very much.